Hey everybody, welcome to SportsXcetera. I'm Andrew. This is Chris.
Hey everybody, happy Easter.
This is our Easter episode, also our 420 episode, because although the show does air on Sundays, we do film it every Saturday. Today is Saturday, April 20th. So for all of those who partake, happy 420 everybody.
Are you enjoying 420 so far?
What?
I guess he is maybe a little stoned, but hey, it's legal now, so it's all good.
All right, as I mentioned, we've got a great show lined up for you this week. We're going to talk about the Calgary Flames first, their playoff performance or lack thereof.
Well,
so disappointing.
Game one was enjoyable.
It was, you know, they really gelled and then it just all fell apart.
Well, other than Mike Smith, the guy we've been ragging on all year long for performances, the biggest worry going into the playoffs wasn't a worry. He was phenomenal, and anyone who's been ragging on him for his playoff performance, he faced over 100 shots in 2 games.
That's right, 102 or 108 shots in games 3 and 4 combined. That's insane. I mean, do you even have any defensemen that are playing?
Well, it sure didn't seem like it, but as well, this series to me, Nathan McKinnon, great player. That shows you how much I was thinking about him before this. I just thought he was
thinking
good.
about Connor McDavid.
Yeah, well, Connor McJesus. Nathan McKinnon had an amazing series. He has proven that he is a superstar. He put that team on his back, and he helped carry them. I have to say, Colorado outplayed Calgary in this first round.
Did.
But the refs also outplayed Calgary in this first round because there was so many missed calls on both sides of the ice, I will say.
You know what? I felt that they were calling really soft things against Calgary, and the ones that where the Flames should have definitely had a power play. I mean, they were taking our guys out. It was like assassins out there.
They were beating Johnny Gaudreau like a rented mule.
Yeah, and they just weren't calling anything. It was extremely disappointing, but you know what? I gotta say props to Mike Smith. He really flipped the script. I know I was especially ragging on him a lot during the season, but he was the only one that really showed up this series, I feel. And so it is a disappointment, but there is always next year, 2019-2020 season.
Well, actually, it'd be 2019-2020. You're right. It's 420. Maybe I'm a little out of it. Yeah, but the one thing with the Flames losing, this silver lining, I guess you could say, would be the World Championships coming up. Some of the guys might be able to go play for their respective countries and maybe put a decent end to their year. Who knows?
You know, I mean, Johnny Gaudreau might be able to go play for Team USA. You know, there's some other players as well. Mike Smith, of course, for Team Canada potentially. Even Backlund.
Yeah, but we can go into a little more detail too a little later. Maybe make some speculations of players that we think will play for Team Canada that have already been eliminated for the playoffs. As Andrew was joking earlier, in the loser tournament.
Yes.
As you know, we did mention it's 420, so we are going to have a special guest on our show today, Tyler Zeck, to talk about cannabis and where 420 was created from.
Exactly.
But first, a word from our sponsor.
Kick off your weekend early at Red Crown's Pub with karaoke Thursday nights. Once you're all warmed up, come back Friday night for Name That Task Track, Name That Tune with a Twist. Win great prizes from local sponsors, including a $25 gift certificate for Red Crown's Pub. Taz Entertainment at Red Crown's Pub. We'll see you there.
Hey everybody, Tyler here from Taz Entertainment. As some of you may have noticed, we're using some pretty low-tech equipment for today's episode. There's a reason for that. My car got broken into the other night, and all of our camera equipment that we use to make SportsXcetera got stolen. Can you believe it? About $3,000 worth of gear. Some punk came along and ripped it off from a parking lot. That expletive. We're on YouTube, so I'm going to try to behave myself. But you know what? It's Easter weekend, and I sure hope that we can all recognize that this world is a pretty fallen place. And you know what? We can all do something about that. Happy Easter, everybody. And if anybody finds some a-hole with a Mevo camera, a laptop, a tablet, some lapel mics, some lighting, and the list kind of goes on from there, let me know. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back. All right. Welcome back, everybody. As mentioned, it is 420, and we've got special guest here, Tyler Zeck from Taz Entertainment, joining us.
Hey guys, how you doing today? I'm excited to be here. I feel like I'm on the show more than I ever planned that I would be on the show. And I was going to source out a special guest, some kind of an expert who we could have on the show to talk to us about cannabis for 420. Because 420, and I don't talk about this a lot, it's very rare that I ever post on internet or anything like that, but I've been a fairly serious cannabis user for coming up on 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
Yeah, and it was a major adjustment for me. It was a major adjustment for my family. It was something that I used years ago in college, and then
haven't we all though, right?
Well, I think a lot of people did.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's kind of funny, and I won't. I'll tell a story. First time I ever smoked weed, I was younger than college, and I got so high that I actually did not remember that I had smoked it until years later when I was in college. And I was like, holy shit, I did do this before.
it was like a time machine.
And it was like a time machine, and I even remember now what it was that I did that night when I got that high. But I forgot about it for years. Anyway, I probably shouldn't tell that story. Mom and Dad, if you're watching, you know what? None of us are perfect, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're fine with it.
You know what? I love you, Mom and Dad, and happy Easter, guys.
Yes, happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you guys. This is a very special holiday for me and for my family and for my wife and I. So, Sydney, I know you're watching this episode. I love you and happy Easter. I'm excited. I feel good, even though that Flames loss that you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. I pulled out my Stamps jersey. Check it out. Stampeders.
And it's the special black jersey, of course.
I'm in mourning.
I'm wearing black as well.
I'm in mourning.
Yeah.
Oh, check it out.
And we've got Chris here. He's.
And you know what I love about Chris? Look how clean shaven he is. You look great. I like you clean shaven. It's a good look for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think he's hitting on you.
Now, these guys are kind of off on tangents and laughing a lot. We're just going to go to a quick clip here of why they're laughing so much.
This is our Xcetera segment.
Yes, it is our Xcetera segment. It's a special 420 edition. We just actually went around the corner from Gators here.
Don't tell them. Let them enjoy it.
Okay.
YouTube.
The power of YouTube. Enjoy.
Because it's legal now.
Yeah, we've got this tiny microphone. It's cool.
Check it out.
It's adorbs.
Hey, everybody. Tyler and Andrew here from Taz Entertainment. Of course, we got my man Chris on the camera.
Hey guys, how are you?
So we're standing outside. We're right around the corner from Gators Sports Pub. And it used to be back in the day, if you walked up to somebody and you said, hey, you got a cigarette? And the guy would say, yeah. You want regular or you want menthol? Well, not anymore. Now you say, hey man, you got a smoke? And they say, yeah man, you want indica or you want sativa? All right, it's 420, and right here beside my little microphone, I have this really cool sativa marijuana joint. Andrew, do you want to spark this up for us? This is our special 420 episode. So this is going to go to anybody who comments on the SportsXcetera episode, as well as, I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but these awesome sunglasses that my man Andrew is wearing over here. I stopped in because it was 420 and they're open till 2 a.m. So on my way home from our show at the Red Crowns last night, I picked up some indicas, I picked up some sativas, and we're ready for 420. So Andrew, how long have you been a cannabis user?
Really just for a few years. Originally had gone and got the medical card, and I found it's really helped with things. If I have
there you go. This way the people can hear you. We have our awesome mini karaoke microphone. And a shout out to Ro, who won one of these last night at Name That Tune and Hockey Trivia at Red Crowns. These things were awesome. And when I found them, I knew I had to pick some up for prizes. So make sure you come down.
They're adorable.
Aren't they awesome? It's a mini karaoke microphone. You can plug it into your phone and you can sing karaoke into your phone. And so if you want,
or just do stuff like this.
or just do stuff like this with it. And so if you want to win one of these, make sure you come down and join these guys at Red Crowns on a Friday night for Name That Taz track. It's a really good time. But sorry, I kind of segued there. Tell us about you said you started with a medical card?
That's right. Yeah. To help me sleep, sometimes just to kind of take the edge off, that sort of thing. And, I found that it's really enhanced my quality of life overall.
You know, I have found the exact same thing, and I don't advertise to a lot of people about my cannabis usage. It's not something that I talk about a lot. I started off with a medical prescription as well. And for anxiety, for a great many reasons, and obviously, everybody has their own personal stuff and they have their own reasons why they do anything. And so here on SportsXcetera, there's no judgment for anybody, and it is 420. So if you're a cannabis user, you know what? We're in the club with you, Andrew and I. So we're really excited that you guys are on the journey because it's made amazing differences in our lives.
Absolutely.
I've got to tell you.
If you're on a Saturday, you have nothing to do, around 11 a.m. noon, come on down to Gator Sports Pub, and we will be there filming the show, and might even be able to take.
We always record on Saturday morning, and usually our ritual after we're done recording is to smoke a little joint because we reward ourselves for hard work. You guys should all reward yourselves for hard work. And thanks for watching SportsXcetera. We're gonna go back inside the studio right after we finish. Well, the studio. We're gonna go back into Gators as soon as we're done here, and it's gonna be we're gonna finish our episode of SportsXcetera. So make sure you stay tuned.
All right.
Well, our studio is great because it's an alcoholic studio.
We should get Chris to take a drag. Come on, Chris. 420.
No,
it's 420.
okay,
it's 420. He doesn't want to get into trouble with his wife, but I do want to say to my wife, Sydney, this Easter weekend, I love you more than anything, and that's it. Happy Easter, guys.
Happy Easter.
Thanks. Cheers.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I got my cool Jägermeister shades, and I see that you have decided to slip on the Canna Cabana shades that were given away to anybody who comments on this episode of SportsXcetera.
That's right. These could be yours. They even still have the plastic film on the front.
Like I said outside, guys, I've been a cannabis user for a while, as have you there, Andrew. You started using it medically.
I did.
I didn't start using it medically. I started using it recreationally, and then I switched to medically because I realized that it helped me. And that's kind of the reason why, even back in college, it's funny, I realized that I had self-medicated myself on it at the time because I'm so ADHD.
Right.
Had I been born in a more modern day and age, there's no question that I would have been diagnosed with it, right? But at my age, and I'm dating myself a little bit, but I'm probably at an age, I feel like I'm in this in-between generation, and I actually read an article about it a while ago, and I can't remember what they called us, but it was like, we're not quite Gen Xers, but we're not quite millennials either.
We're definitely not millennials.
Right, we're definitely not millennials. I was born at a time where I still remember kind of what life would have been like a little bit for what my parents, we didn't have the technology. Sure, we had a phone that was maybe had buttons instead of a rotary, but it was still just a landline phone, right?
Right.
In terms of the way life was lived, it wasn't that different. Sure, there were computers, but they hadn't been integrated into daily life in the same way. But then that did happen at an age where I was young enough to really remember it.
Absolutely.
Right.
I remember when, you'd get those CD-ROMs from Best Buy or whatever, and they were
CDs, tapes.
They were
Cassette
the AOL
tapes, yeah.
The AOL CD-ROMs,
Yeah.
and the dial-up internet. That's
trying to load up a picture of a girl in a bikini.
Well, yeah, it takes about 15 minutes, and it's like, well,
not that I ever did that.
No, me neither.
I want to make it
They
very
weren't
clear.
wearing bikinis, the ones I was downloading.
You know, you do not have to look very far into Andrew's history to explain him.
We brought you on here for 420 today. You were outside, you were talking about an indica and a sativa. What's the difference?
Okay, so an indica is something, and I want to put a disclaimer right now. I'm not an expert, and like I said at the beginning, I did want to bring an expert on board, and I had explored the possibility of reaching out to a few stores. One of the stores I frequent is Canna Cabana. They haven't paid me to endorse them or anything like that, but I do go there, and you know, I'm open to the idea. But there's a lot of restrictions in the industry right now in terms of what they can do in terms of advertising and promoting or whatever. You know, I'm very interested in the topic, and the reason I'm so interested in the topic is because of the change that it has made in my life. You know, I wouldn't be sitting here today doing this show with you guys if I had not started smoking weed. And I can say that with absolute certainty because so much of who I am has become influenced by a shift in what I want to call perspective. And I don't want to say that weed is the only thing that has changed my perspective on life over the course of the last 2 years or so, that I've been using it on a more regular and consistent basis. But it certainly has been a catalyst for something very dramatic. And you know, for anybody who's known me for a long time, you'll know that I've lost probably 65 pounds in weight. You know, I have
good for you.
Yeah, I have a way more active lifestyle than I ever did before. You know, there are challenges. You know, as I mentioned, it's been an adjustment for my family. There's certainly challenges in terms of how I integrate it into my life. I tend to smoke it instead of vaping it, and I know that Andrew, I know you took a hit on the joint there,
Yeah.
but you generally vape your weed when you get it, right?
Yeah, I just find smoking to be a little bit too harsh, you know, personally, and everybody's different, right? But yeah, no, I mean, I do prefer to vape it, you know, just it's a little bit more smooth. And
weed isn't the only thing that I've introduced into my life that has helped to change my life, you know, and a lot of people hate on personal development. Oh yeah, this hokey stuff or whatever. But you know, the fact of the matter is you can change the way you think. And while that may sound hokey on the surface when you hear that, the reality is that as hokey as it is in theory, the practice of actually changing the way you think is very, very effective. And we all have to learn how to change the way we think. And I am far from perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And I really, honestly, there's a part of me deep down that wishes that I didn't smoke weed and that it wasn't part of something that was part of who I was. But there's also that part of me that sees how it increases my creativity.
right?
I see how it helps me unwind at the end of a long day in the same way that some people, you know, like I drink less than I used to. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the reasons why I used to weigh as much as I did was because of the amount of beer that I drank. And now I since I've started smoking weed, I drink so much less beer because it makes me feel drunker faster, for starters, because I've smoked weed. So I'm like, oh man, I better stop drinking, right? Even though I've only had like one. So the amount that I drink has come down. So that's helped with my weight loss immensely. And not just with beer, but in terms of other types of food. It's helped me to curb my appetite. Now, weed has a reputation for giving you the munchies, but that all depends on the type of weed you're smoking, the person that you are. There's a lot of different factors. And, you know, quite honestly, it took me quite a while. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring an expert on the show instead of being the one to talk about it personally, but it took me a while to really dial in what was the right type of weed for me to give me what I needed, so that as an ADHD person, I could have the focus and concentration that I needed to get certain things done during the day. That I could have the creativity at certain times to really, I mean, some of the ideas that we've come up with, you know, because of that. And, you know, who's to say that those ideas wouldn't have come up with anyway? But I mean, anybody who is a pothead will attest that, you know, I have a very good friend who has been giving me some guitar lessons. Hey, Brent, if you're watching, I hope you are. A shout out to you and thanks for all of your support over the years, man. I love you. And he's given me some pointers on the guitar and stuff like that. He made the the joke that, yeah, well, you smoke it and it opens up your third eye, and all of a sudden you understand, right? The world makes more sense. And I don't know if there's any necessary spirituality truth to stuff like that. All I can attest to is that when I entered it into my life strategically, and it was a process, in the beginning, if I'm being totally upfront, I was hiding it. I didn't want anybody to know that I was smoking weed, because I thought it was bad. It's a drug. It's illegal. It's all.
Well, it's not now.
But it's not now. It's not now. But at the time, so I had real concerns even when I was in college. As much as I was self-medicating myself for it, I lived in a house that was Catholic, happy Easter, Mom and Dad, and it was frowned upon. You don't do that, right? And so even though it helped me, there was this guilt in my life about doing it, And so as I've given up guilt over the fact that, yeah, I smoke weed, you know what? My kids know that I smoke weed, and I try as much as possible to kind of be discreet about it, or whatever we call it, daddy's medicine, because like I say, I've had a prescription. It's hard to keep those prescriptions totally current sometimes, and I strongly encourage that you all do keep your prescription current if you have a medical reason for smoking weed. If you don't have a medical reason for smoking weed and you just want to do it for fun, there's no judgment for me, man. Come to karaoke anytime and we'll get high together. I'm totally upfront about it. Again, I always try to be respectful of anybody who is not into weed. I always try to be respectful of the establishments where we do shows and stuff like that, but it is legal now. You can do it on private property, and I don't discourage its use in any way on my end. So I'll throw that out there.
Absolutely.
But I did ask, what is the difference in the strains? You never kind of covered that. You went on a tangent there.
That's true.
Well, how did I go off on that segue? This is going to be the longest Xcetera segment ever.
Must be stoned or something.
I apologize. So as I started to say, so it depends, different strains depending on what you're trying to do. I think I kind of answered it that way. An indica helps you relax or unwind. So if you're the type of person who enjoys a glass of wine at the end of the day, you know what? Maybe for some of you a glass of wine isn't the thing. A nice indica, just kind of settle in and relax and unwind, and it just helps. It's just nice,
Melt into your couch.
Melt into your couch, or sit back on the patio and enjoy a nice conversation with somebody. It's just for chill, okay? But then you've got your sativas, and your sativas give you a little bit more of a mental high. And this mental high will affect different people in different ways, okay? For some people, they'll become really goofy. They'll become really stupid. They'll become, you know what I mean? Like Andrew over here, maybe.
Kind of been like that.
For somebody like myself, I become very focused. I become very intent on conversation, so if I'm talking to you, I'm gonna maintain better eye contact. I'm going to engage in you. I'm gonna share I'm not gonna hold back necessarily if there's something that I feel or like I believe. I'm not gonna be probably less worried about what you think about me, and maybe I'm actually gonna say what's on my mind. Right.
Okay.
So
tell us how you really feel.
Tell you how I really feel, and sometimes, if I'm being completely honest, sometimes at my detriment. Okay, and that's another side of the equation that I try to work on as well. Right. And there's a certain level of it, and I strongly encourage you out there, if you don't listen to me and say, man, I have anxiety in my life, or I have ADHD just like Tyler over there, so I'm just going to start smoking weed. That's not what any of us are saying at all.
Doctors.
I am not a medical doctor. All I can say is that marijuana, along with reading, and along with, if I'm being completely honest, counseling and other things, and along with my faith, on Easter weekend, I have seen a transformation in my life over the last 2 years. Some of it has been really positive. Some of it has been negative. Some of it has been hard to shift through and navigate through. But overall, I feel like I'm a better person today. And I don't know exactly what the last 2 years would have looked like without that, but I do know that I feel good. I've lost a lot of weight. And here I sit in front of you guys today with a really cool YouTube show sitting at about 61 subscribers.
Yeah.
Mwah. Watch it and tell all your friends about the fun that you're having.
Tell them to smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button, and on 420 hit up. Well, you know what? It's Easter Sunday, so
Sunday today.
Don't
you're watching this.
if you have to leave your family to smoke weed, then don't do it that way.
Yeah.
All right? It's Easter Sunday. All right?
Only do it when the Easter Bunny comes by. You and the Easter Bunny can share a
When
nice
when
fat
when the
J.
Easter Bunny drops little gold buds all over your house.
So that was some great information, Tyler. But we are a sports show, and one major thing I have to talk about is the Canadian Football League's collective bargaining agreement discussions that are going on.
Go Stamps, go if we have a season.
The CFLPA this upcoming Wednesday will be actually holding a strike vote. So we may have a strike in the CFL, which, as a Stampeders fan, it sucks. But considering what these players make, all I can say is, players, I'm with you. I hope you guys get what you deserve. You guys put your body on the line for our entertainment.
I agree with you, and it's not very often that I would argue. I love how he moves the mic back and forth. Right on, right on. So I agree with you. I think that it's rare that we ever feel sorry for athletes who don't make enough money. But in the CFL, it is a bit of an exception unless you're a high-performing quarterback. And even then, you're still making less than $1 million. Right? I mean, these guys that are fourth stringers in the NFL make more money than most of our first stringers here in the CFL. Most of them only make $60,000 a year, and most of them, let's be honest, these are athletes in an intense sport. So for most of them, their careers are short.
Very short.
So yeah, I think that the players deserve a fair agreement. Now, exactly what that agreement is, I don't know the finances of the league. I'm certainly not an accountant or anything like that, but I do know that the players do deserve to get paid fairly, and that's my take on it. I don't know, Andrew, what do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, again, I don't know what the state of the league finances are or anything like that. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a team owner or a player. I do want to see a football season, like I mentioned last week.
Absolutely.
I really do think that both sides are going to come together.
I think they will.
And I think we are going to have a season. I really don't think that we're going to have to scrap any games. Even if they do have a strike vote, even if it's yes, I really don't think we're going to miss any games this season. It's too important.
It's not like the CFL is, I mean, yeah, sure, the CFL is rich. The owners are rich, but it's not like NFL dollars, right? It's
no, not even close.
These guys want a season two. They need the TV broadcasting rights. They need the season two.
They need the ticket sales, the merchandise sales, food and beverage sales. The $10 beers at the games and everything. And it would be a shame for everybody all around, the owners, the players, and the fans. Yeah. And so I really think that both sides are going to come together.
It looks dire right now. We'll see how the vote goes on Wednesday. I think Wednesday said the vote is, right? So we'll see how the vote goes on Wednesday. Or who knows, maybe they come to terms on something before Wednesday to prevent that, right? We still have time. The show airs on Sunday, so we'll see what happens. Tune in next Sunday, and these guys will let you know.
Yeah, we'll have it there. And as for that...
And what else is going on next week? We've got...
the NFL draft is coming up this upcoming weekend. It's going to be interesting to see who goes where, what team potentially, gets better. And so we'll talk about that next week because, we'll have... Actually, the draft will be going on the last few rounds while we're recording next week. So
there you go. Excellent. So maybe we'll even be able to give you guys some live...
the big screen behind us here.
Give you some live footage of what's going on there with the NFL draft. That could be pretty cool. So make sure you tune in next week for that. We'll also give you an update on what's going on with our SportsXcetera technology situation. Maybe we'll have even better equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
The Flames may be done, but there is still 2 Canadian teams left in the playoffs, guys. We got Toronto, who is leading their series 3-2 over Boston right now. And tonight, Winnipeg plays St. Louis. Let's hope when this goes out onto YouTube, Winnipeg's still alive in the playoffs.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd really love to see the Jets advance, and Toronto's playing
Toronto.
too.
I'd love to see Toronto go. I'd love to see, as unlikely as it is, I know these guys laugh at each other because they are not, Andrew does not like the Maple Leafs. But
that's why I said Toronto is playing too. It's just stating a fact.
Toronto's playing too, and I would love to see them go far. And you know what? They're playing better against Boston than I thought they would. So
they are.
That's true.
Well, let's see how that plays out.
Every team is playing better than every team that we didn't think was going to play well is playing better than we thought.
Yeah,
they
our
would.
predictions kind of got blown
So
up.
like, go, let's go Blue Jackets. Let's go Islanders. Let's go Maple Leafs. Let's go Jets. That's going to be the one to watch. The Jets in St. Louis because St. Louis has been looking like the better team, but.
You know, and anything can happen, and I think the Calgary-Colorado series really proved that. It's not about who has the most depth or who has the better team on paper. It's about who comes out to play, who shows up, and who gives it, to use that old sports adage, 110%.
It's about tonight, right? And that's what I was kind of even shouting at the screen last night, or I guess on Friday for you guys that are watching, onto the team. I said, guys, stop thinking about the series and just win this game.
Yeah.
Because it's all about winning, and that's why playoff hockey is different. That's why anybody could win the Stanley Cup, and that's been proven before. I'm not the sports expert to know who, when, where, although we did get some of those at Red Crowns on Friday night, so that was fun. Don't forget, if you want to win a karaoke microphone that you can plug into your phone,
One of these little
then
guys.
all you've got to do
So
is
adorable.
subscribe to SportsXcetera on YouTube and leave a comment on this. No, that's for our Ginla jersey. You got to show up. Red Crowns Friday night. Come on down. We'll give one of these things away for you.
All right, guys. I hope you have kind of enjoyed some of the rambling and talking we've done all today.
Happy 420.
Happy Easter.
Happy
Thanks
Easter.
again for watching. Please be sure to subscribe and have a great week, everybody.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Mwah.